Hello folks, and welcome back to my channel. If you've ever gone into a studio to get a body piercing or just considered getting a piercing, did you know that you have rights when it comes to your piercing experience? You absolutely do. Back in the 90s, Gauntlet Body Piercing released a Bill of Rights that went over what every piercee deserves to have from their experience getting a body piercing and what everyone's rights are when it comes to a safe, clean, and consensual piercing service. Many clients I find have no idea that there is a Piercee's Bill of Rights that goes over what they deserve in their piercing experiences. So let's take a closer look at it today. A Piercee's Bill of Rights. Every person being pierced has the right to be pierced in a hygienic, open environment by a clean, conscientious piercer wearing a fresh pair of single-use gloves. This one is so cool to me because it speaks to more of our history than most folks realize, given that when the body piercing industry first started, most folks weren't wearing gloves to do piercings, and gloves didn't really become widespread until quite a few years after piercing as an industry had really begun. So when this rule was first written into the Piercee's Bill of Rights, that mention of wearing gloves meant so much more than people realize. These days, it generally means that your piercer is wearing a clean, fresh pair of gloves in order to do your procedure, and not just the same dirty gloves that they cleaned you with or marked you with or touched other surfaces with. Every person being pierced has the right to a sober, friendly, calm, and knowledgeable piercer who will guide them through their piercing experience with confidence and assurance. I would argue that in this industry, the sober part of that is some of the most relevant and most important. I hate to say that I've been at so many studios and worked so many places with people who were not sober on the clock, and it is just absolutely not okay. Your piercer should also be knowledgeable and able to walk you through all of the information you might potentially need in order to make the decision to get pierced safely and with informed consent. You have the right to the peace of mind which comes from knowing that their piercer knows and practices the very highest standards of sterilization and hygiene. And not just that we do it, but that you know that we do it. If you go into a studio and you want to ask questions about their autoclave, about their spore tests, about their sterilization processes, and about their hygiene processes, piercers should be excited to answer your questions and give you this information. It is a huge red flag, in my opinion, if you ask a piercer, "Oh, can I see your spore test for your autoclave?" And they go, "Why do you need that? We spore test it every month. What do you even know about spore tests?" And I hate to say that that's an answer I got given by a very well-known, very skilled APP member piercer way back in the day when I was getting pierced at like 18. And that should never be your experience. Your piercer should be excited and forthcoming and open with information about their hygiene and sterility practices so that you stay safe and so that you feel informed about what's being done to your body. Every person being pierced has the right to be pierced with a brand new, completely sterilized needle, which is immediately disposed of in a medical sharps container after use on the Piercee alone. I often get asked if needles can be reused or reprocessed between folks, and the answer is a resounding no. Needles should be single use, they should be used just for your piercing and then disposed of immediately afterwards. This rule also has some interesting history when we consider the Piercee's Bill of Rights because, again, back in the early days of body piercing, we were reusing needles between different clients. They were cleaned and sterilized between use, but they got very dull very quickly, and it was still a huge cross-contamination and health and hygiene risk. So it is so important that that is listed in the Piercee Bill of Rights because we should not be reusing needles. We know so much better now. So anytime you're going to a studio to get a piercing, it should be a fresh, sterile, single-use needle that is used just for you and then immediately disposed of. Likewise to the needles, you also have the right to be touched only with freshly sterilized, appropriate implements, properly used and disposed of or re-sterilized in an autoclave prior to use on anyone else. Unlike needles, tools can be safely reprocessed in order to be reused on different clients, although many studios, like mine, are disposable, so tools are disposed of after use, or we minimize the use of tools in our practices. That way we're reducing that risk for cross-contamination. That risk can also be reduced with proper reprocessing, and you have the right to tools that have been properly sterilized, properly reprocessed, or will be properly disposed of after your piercing service is complete. Every person being pierced has the right to know that ear piercing guns are never appropriate and often dangerous when used on anything other than earlobes. I mean, quite frankly, they're really dangerous when they're used on earlobes as well, but we'll take what we can get with this. I actually don't know if that mention of piercing guns was included in the original Piercee Bill of Rights or if that was an add-on to the 1995 update that kind of just tweaked some language and made things more up-to-date with current research and understanding. But I do literally love that if you look at the Piercee's Bill of Rights, it's basically like you have the right to not be pierced with a piercing gun because they suck. And yet, so many of us, myself included, still ended up having horrible experiences at Claire's and Piercing Pagoda. Ugh, what a time. Every piercee has the right to be fitted only with jewelry which is appropriately sized, safe in material, design, and construction, and which best promotes healing. Gold-plated, gold-filled, and sterling silver jewelry are never appropriate for any new or unhealed piercing. We've talked about silver before here on my page. I have a whole video about why silver body jewelry is so unsafe and so dangerous. And it's literally listed on the Piercee Bill of Rights that silver is never appropriate for an unhealed piercing. Neither is something that's gold-plated or gold-filled. And despite this, I still see so many places using gold-plated and gold-filled and sterling silver jewelry in fresh piercings, and it absolutely breaks my heart. It is so well documented that this stuff is not safe and should not be used, and many places don't care. They just care about selling stuff that's going to make them a buck, and that is so incredibly unethical. So know your rights. Know that you have a right not to be pierced with these lower quality materials and that you and your body deserve the correct, proper, safe jewelry for healing a piercing. You also have the right to be fully informed about proper aftercare and to have continuing access to their piercer for consultation and assistance with all of your piercing-related questions. Folks often express to me that they feel weird or uncomfortable getting back in touch with their piercer if they have an issue healing, or embarrassed or ashamed to get back in touch. And don't be. It's literally in the Piercee Bill of Rights that you have the right to having a piercer assist you through the healing process. Our jobs are not just doing your piercing, they're also helping your piercing heal and heal well. And any good piercer is going to be very proud to help you with that healing process, even if that means that you've got to follow up with us. That's what we're here for. Helping you heal your piercing is a part of our job too. Now, this is just a review of the original Gauntlet Piercee's Bill of Rights. The Association of Professional Piercers has their own version of this that has a little bit more on it, but we know me, I'm a history buff, and I just reread Running the Gauntlet to review on here and Modern Primitives, so I'm feeling really fresh about it. So I decided to review specifically the Gauntlet version. If you're interested to see the Association of Professional Piercers version, I'll go ahead and link it in the comment section down below. And if you like the Gauntlet version and you want to own a copy of it signed by Jim Ward, I will also link his website down below where you can purchase one. And just so y'all know, this is not a sponsored video or anything from Jim or from the Gauntlet. I am just a history nerd, and I think Jim is wonderful, and I think what he did for this industry is really incredible. So I like to shout him out and encourage folks to support him wherever possible. So there you have it, a review of what rights you do have as a piercee, as someone getting a piercer done. Know your rights. Know that there is a whole Bill of Rights for piercees and that you deserve so much more than many folks would expect when it comes to getting a safe, well-done piercing. If anything feels off or wrong when you're in a studio, or if you're not getting something that you deserve out of the experience, please do not hesitate to leave. I hope learning about this helps you feel more equipped to advocate for yourself when you go to studios and to be more aware of what studios have some red flags to look out for. All right, folks, thanks so much for sitting down and hanging out, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.